Hi, I'm James Spencer.
I'm Steve Wilkes.
We are from Basic Brewing Radio and Basic Brewing Video, but here today we are going to demonstrate the high-gravity brew-in-a-bag electric brewing system.
This is an amazing piece of equipment here. I love this.
This is the first time that you're seeing this.
I know.
I had time to play with it the other day when I made the first video that you need to watch. If you're getting the system in your house, the video on how to put it all together and test it and make sure it works. But today we're actually going to brew a batch of beer with the system.
I'm so excited. So you've played with this before.
That's right.
So you get to show me how to do it.
Okay, so let me walk you through the system here pretty quick.
Yep.
We have a 62-quart Bayou Classic kettle with the basket that goes inside and a brew-in-a-bag bag in the basket.
Okay.
And inside the kettle is a Blickman boil coil, which is going to heat the water up for us. I've got it sitting on the stove because that's the handiest place to have it sit. We're not going to turn on the stove. We're not going to actually use the heat from the stove.
Right.
So you could have this on your countertop or a table as long as you have the thermal barrier between the kettle and the counter to protect it.
Right.
That's one of the beauty things about brewing with electricity is you don't have to have it on the stove. You can have it outside. You can have it wherever.
Okay.
Now, coming out of the kettle, and I've got to say that since we're brewing with electricity, the people at High Gravity recommend that you have a GFCI breaker in your system, and you want to make sure that the heating element is immersed in either water or wort before you turn it on. Mm-hmm. So a couple of safety things. So we have a ball valve that leads from the kettle into our pump, and the pump is going to recirculate the water and wort through the lid. And in the lid there is a little temperature sensor right there, and there's a little spray nozzle on the bottom of the lid.
This is awesome. Let me see.
You want to look at the nozzle?
Yeah.
There you go. Okay. And then controlling the whole operation is the High Gravity EBC SV, which stands for Electric Brewing Controller Single Vessel unit. This
is the brains of the unit.
It is.
Okay.
And you have a button on there for the pump, or a switch on there for the pump, and a switch on there for the heat.
I bet you want to have the lid on before you turn the pump on.
You do want to.
This is probably a good thing.
Since the nozzle is in the lid, you don't want to turn on the pump with the lid sitting right there.
Like a steel trap. I'm telling you.
Rusted shut.
Yeah. That's my stage name. Rusted shut.
So we are brewing brew-in-a-bag, which we've done before. And the way we're going to do this is we're going to use the kind of traditional brew-in-a-bag technique. We're going to use all of the brewing water in the process in the kettle all at once. So we're not going to do a traditional sparge. We're going to be sparging essentially through the system.
Well, that's what I was thinking, yeah.
It's going to be recirculating all the way through. So
love it.
So we've got 8 gallons of water in the kettle. Okay. And we've got 8 gallons because you do lose some water in the process because you're going to lose about 1/10 of a pound or 1/10 of a gallon per pound of grain. And then you're going to lose some in the boiling process, of course. And then there's going to be some under the spigot that doesn't come out. And then, of course, there's going to be a loss in the trube and the fermenter and all that. So if you add up all those losses for a 5-gallon batch, we're going to start with 8 gallons.
But that's no different than brewing any other system.
Correct.
You just have to...
Right. Yeah, the only difference is if you were doing, say, batch sparging, you would add that water in a couple of different times.
Right.
Now we have it all at once at the beginning of the process.
I love it. Simple,
easy.
Simple.
So with all grain brewing, we need to reach a strike temperature so that we can, when we add our grain, we will hit the mash rest temperature.
Now we don't need as much of a temperature difference, do we?
That's
don't need
correct.
As high a strike temperature
because of the water to grain ratio. What we're going to do is set the temperature on the controller for a couple of degrees over our target mash temperature. And really, if we come under the target mash temperature, no big deal because we can just turn the temperature up and raise it. Yeah. It's a lot easier to raise the temperature than to lower it.
True.
So, have we got everything described here? Have we got everything laid out?
I think I get it.
Okay, well, this is exciting. As I said, I played with it the other day, but I didn't actually brew anything with it. So this is the first time for me as well. We're going to put the basket and the bag in the kettle.
Yep. And this is just a regular brew-in-a-bag mesh
nylon bag.
Okay.
And then we put the lid on. There we go.
All right.
And you have to remember that the temperature sensor doesn't know what temperature the water or wort is if it's not running past it. So we got to turn on the pump. So we just open the ball valve down the bottom.
Okay.
And you hear the water coming down to the pump. Excuse me.
Those enchiladas starting to...
So why don't you steer the vessel here?
So
Steve, we've got water coming into the pump. So why don't you turn on the pump? Look at that.
Look at that.
It primes just right away. And if you look in the inside here,
Oh yeah.
we got can you see the little shower of water there? So now,
great.
now the brewing controller
Now we
is
wanna
going to know what temperature we have. So why don't you turn on the heat button?
Got it?
Now it'll take a second for it to wake up. Now the top number, the red number, is the temperature of the water
At the moment.
at the moment.
Okay.
And the number on the bottom
Right.
is what the temperature that you want. So we want to dial it up to what, 153 degrees Fahrenheit?
Yeah, let's go there.
So
So,
what-
we're setting at 130.
Right, so you touch the right hand up arrow
And
just
it
a moment,
blinks.
and a little blinking light comes on, a little decimal starts blinking, and while that's blinking, you can adjust the temperature up and down, or
I love
adjust
it.
the target temperature up and
And so every time you touch it, it'll raise it a temperature.
Right.
One.
Or if you hit the down arrow, it'll go down.
Well, sure.
So
So I'm at 153, and then just
153.
leave it alone, and it'll lock in.
that's right.
Okay.
And when it stops blinking, that's the target temperature that it's going to start to hit.
Blinking and a nod.
Now there is a knob on the side of the box,
Yep.
which controls the intensity of heat coming off of that burner, and you can think of it as one of these knobs on the burner on your stove or on the propane burner. So what we can do is, since we're trying to hit strike temperature, we're trying to do it as quickly as possible.
Kick
Go
it
ahead
up.
and crank that up.
So all right. So now we're applying full force.
Full force of the heating,
Full force of the heating.
and everything is working good.
Yeah. Temperature's starting to rise.
Is it?
Temperature's starting to rise.
We don't have to pay any royalties. Stop it.
Sorry, I just made that up.
Oh, good. Okay.
Yeah.
So there we go. So now we just got to wait for the strike temperature to be achieved. And the beauty of the system is, right now you can go and get your other brewing supplies together. You can mill grain if you want to.
Can I have a beer?
You could have a beer.
Jeez Louise, what will they think of next?
And the beauty of it is you can walk away, not have to worry about it, because
it's
the
not
temperature
gonna-
control system is going to take care of
See,
this thing.
this is great because I'm used to walking away and coming back to a big mess.
Oh no, I missed
can-
the strike water
Oh, no.
there again. It's too hot. No worries with that. So
Yeah.
So why don't we do one of or many of those things?
Okay.
And we'll come back when we hit our strike water temperature.
Oh my, what a great beer.
Isn't that tasty? One of the benefits of having a relationship with someone at high gravity is you get to taste homebrew. This is Desiree's recipe, and her brewing talent at work here. This is an English Southern brown ale with hazelnuts.
And the hazelnut comes through very nicely.
Very good. But we're not here to talk about the delicious beer. We're
not?
We're here to make some delicious beer. Okay, where do we stand on the temperature?
I stand right here. This is right where I sit. Okay, well, we're 3 degrees over where we want to mash at.
Right.
So we need to bring that down.
So we've hit our strike water temperature.
Yes.
And you want to go onto the controller and tap one of the arrows and bring it down to your target mash temperature.
Yep.
And then
I've done that.
And then when you turn that off, it will remember that. So why don't you go ahead and turn off the heat and turn off the pump, because we're going to do it. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to shut the valve.
Yes.
Shutting the valve.
Shutting
Shutting
valve.
the valve, because we're
Okay.
gonna move the lid over to there.
I feel like I'm your lovely assistant.
Vanna White. Are you Vanna White or
I
Carol
used to
Merrill?
be. I don't want to be Carol Merrill. Who wants to be Carol Merrill? All right, so what are we going to do? We're going to dough
Okay.
in.
Yes. So we are at our strike water temperature. I'm going to pour, and you're going to stir.
All right, well, here you go.
And we want to make sure that we don't get the dough balls. We'll pour slowly.
Well, not that slowly. All right, don't get carried away here.
And this, by the way, is 11 pounds of American two-row.
This brings a whole new meaning to the word "in the bag." You know? Actually, it's not a word; it's a phrase.
That's
Excuse
right.
me.
Well, if it's hyphenated, is it a word if it's hyphenated?
I would or if it's Welsh, it could be one word that went on for like 85 letters.
I might make it dissolve to make this go faster. I don't know.
Oh, it's going pretty fast. Oh,
Okay.
All right.
Yeah. All right.
You know, I'm not really tall enough to do this.
Well, you know, the
You need to
beauty of
be-
the system is that we can get a shorter table. We can do it outside.
Do we have a reservation for a shorter table?
A two-topper.
Two top. Okay, there's a dough ball. Got it.
All right. Beauty. Now, Brew-in-a-Bag will make a thinner mash than you're used to if you do all grain
Good job.
brewing
Come in.
otherwise. Hello.
All right, what do you think? Oh, it smells really good.
Is there anything that smells
It smells
as
like
good
porridge.
as that? Oh man.
I need some porridge. Oh, look
Hit
at that.
Hit that.
There's a dough ball.
There you go. Done.
Done.
Looks beautiful.
All right.
Now, what we want to do is we want to,
Take that away.
thank you, sir.
Thank you.
I'm going to put the lid back on.
All right.
I'll let you do that. And always remember when you're using the pump to open the valve.
Open the valve.
Opening the valve. There we go. And now, since we've got the valve open, and we want to turn the heat on the heating element down to about mid-range.
Okay.
Because we don't need all the heat that we were using to hit the strike temperature.
We just want to
We're just
maintain.
maintaining. Okay, so turn your pump on.
Is it important the order that I turn these on?
Well, it's important to turn the valve on first.
Valve is important.
And then the pump on next, because the temperature probe will then be
Got it.
sensing the temperature. Now we turn on the heat,
Look at that.
and it's waking up. I want you to know we hit the temperature.
That is just amazing. I love this.
That is worth a beer.
That's right.
Cheers. And the beauty thing about it now is that we are going to, we keep running the pump. We keep running the pump through our 1 hour mash rest because that will maintain the temperature rock solid. We don't have to worry about wrapping our kettle with sleeping bags and blankets and towels and to keep the temperature warm. We got the pump, we got the heater. It's all good to go. So we will be back in an hour.
Cheers.
Okay, so here we are after the mash rest.
Yes.
We've had lunch, we've had a beer,
Or two.
maybe two. And so we've converted our starches into sugars, and we are ready to proceed on to the next step. So, if you will, sir, please turn off the pump. There we go.
I love that. I love that sound.
Now, what we want to do is turn off the ball valve coming out of the kettle. And what we will do, since we don't need the pump anymore, we're going to drain the wort out of the tubing. So what we're going to do?
I've left the heat on. Is that
The heat is left on because we're now going to raise the temperature of the wort to boiling.
Oh,
So
got it.
if you will hold this bowl here.
Okay.
Now, just imagine what you're seeing. You won't be able to see this, but hold the bowl down below here, and I will disconnect the quick disconnect.
You know, in the 70s, I used to hold the bowl. But we won't go there.
That's another thing.
Okay.
Okay. So by disconnecting this connection below the, hold it a little lower,
All right.
out of the kettle, we are draining the wort from this tube through the pump. And we're just draining all that out.
Got it.
So there we go. Now we're independent of the pump that way, and if you want,
Ooh, that's hot.
you can set that aside, set the that container aside.
Okay.
And if you'll take that quick disconnect off, I'll take this one. And
It's not that quick.
well, you push the button, and
Oh, I got it. Sorry.
there we go.
There we go.
Awesome.
All right.
All right, so those go in there.
All right.
So we're done with the pump right now. So now what we want to do is we want to keep the temperature probe connected to the controller because the heating element won't turn on if the temperature sensor isn't connected. Okay. Now it doesn't matter. Now essentially what the temperature sensor is going to be sensing if we set the lid over there is room temperature. That's fine because the target temperature is going to be higher than room temperature, so the electrical element is always going to be on.
Got it.
So we're just going to be boiling.
Right.
So we'll set the lid over to the side.
Okay.
Smelling good.
Yeah, no kidding.
All right, so now what we need to do is take out the grain, as we would normally do with the Brew-in-a-Bag system. Now, these are fancy gloves that don't come with a system, but I just found them online.
They're very chic, by the way.
Well, thank you. I looked for the elbow length, but they didn't have them. So these are barbecue, meant for barbecuing. So you could reach in and just pull out your barbecue right from the thing.
Well, yeah.
So you've got an S-clamp there that you were going to hang on the side of the kettle on the inside there so that when I lift out the basket won't fall back in.
All right.
So it's got a handy little hook here that we can have access to. And now, if you're doing a 10-gallon batch, you probably need some help.
All right.
But this is a 5-gallon batch. Really heavy. So weird. There we go. And you know, some brew-in-a-bag brewers have a pulley on their ceilings, on their garage ceilings to help out. And it gets lighter as that liquid.
Well,
Okay.
you can't buy beer, you just rent it.
So I'm going to lift it up higher and you set the hook.
Yep, that's it.
And there we go.
That's perfect.
So we're going to let that drain, and actually I'm going to squeeze the bag a little bit.
I heard you say that.
So to speak. And to get more wort out of there.
That's great.
But as
What am I doing?
As we are sitting here, the temperature temperature is coming up in the wort because the element is on, and it's quiet.
I know.
So now we can crank that sucker up.
This up?
Yeah, because we're coming up to a boil.
I turned it up to 11.
That's right. So the heating element is on,
Yep.
and we're waiting for the bag to drain, and we will come back.
This is so simple.
We'll come back when we're up to the boil. How about that?
Love it.
Holy smokes!
Jeez Louise.
That was quick.
I know. What's the deal here? Is this like a government secret or something?
We have, this is nuclear. We have a really fast boil already.
Yeah.
It hasn't been very long at all. And I want you to play with the knob, Steve.
Okay.
so to speak.
He doesn't know what he's asking.
But crank that thing down.
Down meaning higher or lower?
Lower.
Lower, okay.
Now watch, you've killed it all the way, and watch how immediately
Wow.
it subsides.
It's like the still waters of Lake Minnetonka.
And now I want you to crank it back up.
Okay.
And holy smoke, it's
like the raging waters of Minnetonka Falls.
it's like
It just keeps going.
it's like Old Faithful. It's like we're brewing at Yellowstone. So that tells you how much control that you have. Now you probably don't want to crank it up all the way unless you're making a Scottish ale and you want to boil all your water.
Tip is about 3/4 of the way.
Well, it might it might vary really on your preference. You know,
For
if
how
you want a
vigorous?
really vigorous boil, you might want to crank it up a little more. If you want,
I had a vigorous boil right here, but somebody took care of that for me.
taken care of.
later.
Well, that's good. Was it covered?
Yes.
Okay.
My insurance handled it.
So now, you know what? From here on out, this is just like brewing on a standard system.
No difference at all.
So you boil, you add your hops. One difference is if you're adding hops in a bag, you want to make sure that they're tethered to the side and they don't get wrapped around the heating element.
Yep.
But other than that, you're just brewing with a typical system. You can chill with a plate chiller, or you can chill with an immersion chiller, and you can
And then you
just
pull the wort out through the ball valve?
go straight out through the ball valve into
love it.
your fermenter. So how about that? What do you think, Steve?
I think this is one of the great inventions of our lifetime. Penicillin, the EBC-SV, and my baseball bat. No, this is.
And I
really
wouldn't
good.
combine them all three.
No.
For any.
No, this is excellent because you don't have a lot of space. You're in an apartment. You're in my house,
And
which
electricity is a lot cheaper than propane.
Yes, it is.
And you'll never have to run to the convenience store to get another propane bottle again. So when you run out in the middle of a boil.
The thing that I like most about this is being able to set the temperature and walk away from it, and I don't have to babysit the system all the time.
Right.
That's a really big plus for me. Then the second thing that I see that I like about this is that I can, when I'm all done, it can all go back inside of itself, and I can put it on the shelf. And if I live in an apartment or I live in a house, I don't have a lot of room in my house.
Right.
A lot of our storage at my home is actually outside. So I don't, in other words, I don't have a lot of temperature controlled storage
Right.
where I really want to take care of stuff. But this doesn't have a big footprint.
Right.
And yet, in 15 minutes, I'm up. I got a great system. Love it.
Well, it's time to add some hops. And that's where we're going to leave you as I'm peering through the fog.
Rest of rubber.
Zoinks! All right, guys.
This is great.
And gals.
Thank you, James.
Thank you, Steve.
Great day of brewing.
It's time to find my beer. Happy brewing, everybody. Check it out. Go to highdgravitybrew.com and take a look at the system.
Absolutely.
Cheers.
Cheers.